Hi, my name is Erik Ruby, and I'm out of breath because I'm still celebrating one hell of a weekend.
Happy Monday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined as always on these marvelous weekly, daily shows, almost at this point, Erik Ruby, the one, the only himself. And of course, we have Captain Redbeard behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. Guys, do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. We have an absolute banger of a show today. We've got sound from Kenny Dillingham talking about the environment at Mountain America Stadium this coming Saturday, about BYU. We're going to get into why this team is dangerous. And if you are BYU, Arizona, or anybody else, the Sun Devils are the last team that you want to be seeing right now. We are going to get into our Big 12 power rankings. We got some serious movement. I know you are definitely going to spark some interesting conversation. Oh, yeah, I saw your power rankings. We're going to have to get into that. And of course, we are going to talk about Bobby Hurley's Arizona State Sun Devils at the tail end of today's show. Bobby Hurley and the Devils now 4-1 on the season after a big victory. But Erik, we are going to start with Kenny Dillingham's Devils, because right now 8-2, just like we all thought. Everybody in the nation knew exactly that this is what Arizona State was going to be 10 games into the season. Number 21 in the country, back at home, taking on number 14 BYU. Two teams trending in completely opposite directions, and the Sun Devils with a chance to do something, Erik, that hasn't been done in, I believe 2004 was the last time that Arizona State was undefeated at home.
Yeah. It's really nice when everything works out exactly how you expected it, right?
Just like we all thought.
We all were sitting here in August saying, if you're not competing for the Big 12 championship with 2 games left to go in the season, then it's a failure. Those were the standards that we set for this team. And I'm just happy that they've barely scraped by and met them, honestly, because it was starting to get worried if they were going to live up to the hype, the expectations, right? Because that's just what we've all been thinking. No, it's so nice to be here to talk about this. And you finally crack the AP Top 25 after getting teased so much this season and doing it to yourself. Honestly, each time that it was like, man, they could maybe go in the top 25, they end up with a loss. And now you're sitting here and it's like, this is all supposed to happen. This is how it was supposed to play out. And now you go into a game that might be the biggest moment for your program
since 2014.
And beyond that, maybe it was more than a decade before that you had as important of a game. We're talking about a once-a-decade type of deal going on this Saturday. But maybe it's going to be more often going forward.
Hopefully.
But here's the thing. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing's promised. We've seen teams that have been expected to be good end up being bad. Utah is one of the worst teams in the conference.
Yeah. Oklahoma State, another really
one of the worst
team.
teams in the conference. Arizona, one of the worst teams in the conference.
Yeah.
You are seeing something right now that even if ASU is good for years to come, which I fully expect them to be, that will not be done again. This moment, what we're living through right now, will not be replicated ever.
And that's not necessarily saying it in a negative way that it could be kind of taken, right?
No, you just can't have, once you do something like this, you cannot capture that magic again.
You can't surprise people
because the expectations are completely different.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right in a way. I disagree in the delivery in a way.
What do you mean?
This team, because obviously they're going to, or you'd hope that this isn't the last time Arizona State's 8-2 moving forward.
No, but that's not what I'm saying.
You're saying the magic. The magic of the moment.
I'm saying the feeling of what we have going on right now will not be captured again, we might hit higher highs. I would probably expect us to hit higher highs. I mean, this is a program that has continued to do this and will continue to do this as long as Kenny Dillingham is continuing to coach and the investment is there from the school.
Yeah.
But next year, if all of this happens again, we would say, well, duh.
Well, yeah. And part of this, part of the magic, part of the reason that everybody is up in arms and shocked, right, outside of Arizona State that this is happening is in large part because of the preseason media poll, right? Had Arizona State finishing last in this conference. Another part, this is a team that won 3 games last year. Mm-hmm. You've got a ton of new players on this roster. That's all part of this magic, right? That Erik is saying that you are not going to capture again. This team isn't going to surprise anybody from now on. And the reason because is Kenny effing Dillingham.
Yeah.
The guy that Arizona fans wish they had coaching their program. He is the coach that it seems time and time again this season, he's been matched up against either better coaches in theory, coaches that have been doing it longer, playing in places where Arizona State has no business competing, and just checking them off the list. Kansas State, Manhattan, Kansas, is one of the toughest places to play, if not the toughest place to play in the Big 12. Kenny Dillingham's Arizona State Sun Devils were up on this team 21-0.
They dominated.
Took care of business. Kyle Whittingham, one of the best coaches in all of college football history. Utah came to town. Arizona State made Cam Rising and Whittingham look silly in that game. Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State. I know they haven't had the best season in the world. It is a tough thing to do to go into Stillwater, especially after an entire 3-hour delay because of weather.
Yep.
Take care of business on the back end of that.
And Oklahoma State was coming off a bye too, were they not?
I don't know.
I can't remember if they were.
I don't remember. And then you look back at some of these other games like that Kansas win. Kansas is playing hot football right now.
They just beat Iowa State.
And Arizona State took care of business.
And they beat Kansas.
Kansas beat BYU this past weekend.
They beat Iowa State. They beat BYU. They've played really well. Texas Tech has slid a little bit. That's a loss. Cincinnati has not been great, but at the same time, I mean, you can't look back at all of this and not just smile.
Be in awe.
Just be happy. And I don't say that to say the next 2 weeks and whatever bowl or championship game that comes along with that doesn't matter, because it certainly does. And our expectations have changed. And I feel like we've changed it at like 3 different segments for this season. It was like the first 3 games, oh, this team is good. Then the middle 3 games, okay, this is sustainable. And then the next 3 games, you're like, okay,
this team's great.
You're like, okay,
this
wait
team's
a second.
Good and great.
Right? And then this past game happens and you're like, oh no, this team isn't just great. This team is possibly the best team in a Power 4 conference. Great.
They could win this conference.
They absolutely could win this conference, and they've played like it. They have not played like some fluke. And I continue to say this. This team is still not playing all together as far as like hitting their collective ceiling at the same time. You saw maybe the ceiling between Leavitt and Tyson on Saturday. You didn't see the ceiling of Cam Skattebo with that.
No.
Could you imagine if you got like 150 all-purpose yards from Cam Skattebo in that game? You would have won by 40.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but part of that is because of the way that Kansas State plays the run.
What I'm saying is it's not like some unsustainable thing has happened to get them to this point in any way. They have won through flaws. They have won through trials and tribulations and road bumps and good opponents, and they've done it all. And they've won along the way, all except for twice this entire season. And both of those losses, you can look back at those games and say, ASU could have easily won that game.
ASU was a better team.
Yes.
They didn't play the better game.
There has not been a game, except for, I guess maybe you could say the UCF game, where ASU has not been the better team.
I think they've been the better team in every game they've played, but they haven't played like that in every game.
That's what I'm saying, played like it. I think UCF is like the one win this season.
They should have lost that game. They should have lost the UCF game.
You look at that and you go, that's a game that UCF fumbled. That's a game that you worked your magic as good teams do. You win the middle 8. You do the back end of the first half in incredible fashion and just completely change the chemistry of the game.
Yeah.
But UCF played like the better team that day. That's the only game that I can look back and say ASU got thoroughly outplayed, because they did in all facets of the game. But guess what? They're a great team, so they still won.
Yeah, no,
they still found a way to get it done.
Waynick in the chat, I don't remember the last time the team got better through the year. I mean, that's a testament to the coaching staff, right? Not just Dilly, but Marcus Arroyo, Hines Ward, Brian Ward, AJ Cooper, like the list goes on and on of just how impressive the assistant coaches at Arizona State have been this season. True ASU Devils saying Tyson and Scat are going to have a field day against the Cougars on Saturday. Obviously, all week long, we're going to be talking about that Arizona State-BYU matchup. BYU, their passing defense, their secondary has been one of the best, if not the best, in the Big 12 so far this season. So it doesn't get any easier for the Sun Devils. I know the Cougars lost this past week to Kansas. I know that BYU hasn't looked great over the last couple of weeks. They're still a one-loss football team. They're still a top 15 team in the nation.
Yeah.
They're coming to town. You're going to need to show up, show out. Arizona State needs all the help they can get when it comes to this meeting at Mountain America Stadium on Saturday.
Here's the one thing I'm going to say about BYU, and it's going to be more than one thing, but that's how I'm going to set it up. This is still a really good football team. I do understand that they are going down and not peaking at the absolute best time. And it seems like the Arizona State Sun Devils are.
They are. There's no even thinking about it.
But this is not a BYU team that you should be walking in and being like, you know what, man? No chance. No chance that BYU wins this game. This is a good, well-coached team that is dangerous. And I get it. They lost to Kansas, and their offense didn't look that great. And that's a big, big positive as far as when we preview this game this upcoming week. They had that really close game with Utah where the refs basically had to bail them out.
They should have lost the Oklahoma State game.
But here's the thing. What did we say in the UCF game, right? Like the good teams won. They beat UCF by double digits. They blew the doors off Arizona. They beat Baylor. They blew the doors off Kansas State, blew the doors off of Wyoming, played a close one against SMU, and then Southern Illinois. We all know what happened there. But this is not a BYU team that all of the sudden isn't a good football team. They're still first in the Big 12. They're still 9-1.
For now.
Huh?
For now.
For now, I say all these things because it's exciting because you can say that and still look at ASU and be like, they have played like the better team the last few weeks, and they're only having one loss difference in their record, and they play each other at Mountain American Stadium.
There's a world, and we'll get into tiebreakers and all that stuff later on in the show, but there is a world, Erik, where your Arizona State Sun Devils are, by the end of the day on Saturday, the number one team in the Big 12 standings with a date against the Arizona Wildcats is the last thing on their schedule. Because Colorado, they've played really well as of late. Colorado has a tough game. They are on the road at Kansas this weekend. That game has gotten significantly more interesting every single week that the Jayhawks have been playing. And if I'm not mistaken, Kansas is still fighting for bowl eligibility. So there is something on the line there for the Jayhawks.
And I mean, Lance Leopold is also fighting for relevancy in the conference, because if you don't make a bowl game this season,
roster,
I'm not saying he's going to get fired, but I'm saying you go into next season talking a little bit differently about what your future looks like with the program. If you're able to save this and come away with wins over BYU, Colorado, and then get a bowl game, you're ending your season on a lot better of a note. So if you don't think Kansas is going to be playing with their hair lit on fire, I don't know what to tell you. Even though they're 4-6, they have a lot to lose these last couple weeks of the season.
Absolutely. But let's not get anything blurred here. Arizona State is one of the most dangerous college football teams in the nation.
Period.
Right now. Sam Leavitt is absolutely on a heater as the weather has gotten colder. Jordyn Tyson has turned and solidified himself into a true number one wide receiver, one of the scariest wide receivers to deal with in the Big 12. And you can't forget about Cam Skattebo, who is an absolute thumper in the backfield for Kenny Dillingham's Arizona State. And then on the flip side, you get to that Arizona State defense. You want to talk about a unit that plays with their hair on fire from the jump. Shamari Simmons at nickel, tipping a pass to an interception for Xavier Alford at the start of this game. Shamari also forcing a fumble, coming up with an interception on the back end of this game as well. Arizona State is playing well everywhere, and you do not want to see these Sun Devils through the rest of this college football season. I'm interested for everybody in the chat. Let us know if you are going to the game on Saturday. I want to see everybody in this chat who's all going. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review. Yes, Mr. Rubis.
If you are going to the BYU game, we want to, and I don't know if you know this, but I've been talking to people in the chat about it, find like a spot for all of us to meet up and say hi before the game. Yeah. Because we want to say hi to all of you, but if you're spread out all across the stadium in that type of environment, we're not going to. So if you're a diehard, message in our diehard Discord. If not, reach out to Totri or I on social media at Anthony_Totri, at Erik Ruby. And we're going to find a place and we're going to try to have a little PHNX Sun Devils meet up, talk for 5 minutes, root on the Devils, and then, go about our days because we have a job to do and you have a game to cheer for. But we want to do that. David said he's going to be there. William said he'll be in section 303. We will figure it out. But what an exciting time.
I know. It's awesome. Look, was that Kenny's presser? Little over.
Is that why you were all dressed up?
Hour and a half ago. Is this dressed up?
You look like the lead in a Hallmark Christmas movie. In a good way. You're like the love interest that pulls through in the end.
Okay.
That was complimentary.
Am I a main character?
Yes.
I'm a main character?
Yes. You're the secondary main. The girl who's moved to a...
She's the main character?
She's from a small town. She's moved to a big city in Tempe. And you're the guy that at the beginning of the movie, everybody's like, oh, don't talk to him. And then she talks to him.
Why?
And it's
Why not talk to me? What I do?
You're just so successful and, you're just dressed so well. Everybody just assumes they're like, oh, you can't approach him. You're just a girl from a small city. And then you get approached. And it's like, wow, he's just the nicest little sweetheart ever, huh? And then you guys fall in love, and then you end up moving stop. And then you end up moving back to the small city, and you live happily ever after, celebrating Christmas every day. That's what you're dressed like today, and I know you did that because it was a special day to see Kenny.
I mean, just
to walk you through that.
Yeah, thanks, man. What's last thing before we move on? What's the Hallmark movie called?
A Winter in the Big City.
My goodness. Look, enough of a winter in the big city. Okay, we are going to take a listen to what Kenny Dillingham had to say at today's press conference about BYU, about the matchup, about some contract negotiations, but we are going to take just a short break.
In order to get from a big city to a small town, you need a reliable vehicle, like the main character of a Hallmark movie over here. And if you're the main character of your own movie, well, I have the perfect place for you to get your next car. And of course, it is Sanderson Ford, and we are proud to have Sanderson Ford as our official vehicle partner. And they are thankful to you, their customers, thankful to their employees, thankful to have been around for over 70 years in Glendale, Arizona. Family owned and operated, no pressure, no hassle, no nonsense. But you know these things. What you might not know is that they have a Black Friday thank you sale happening the entire month of November. Get a new 2024 F-150 truck with 3.9 APR financing for 66 months, plus up to $4,000 cash back. Similar savings on over 900 new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot. So don't miss the Sanderson Ford Black Friday thank you sale all month. OAC through Ford credit. This is a disclaimer. Up to $4,000 cash back. Requires a trade-in of a 95 or newer vehicle. Offer expires on November 30th. And while you're there, get a nice meal at their Starliner Diner.
It's fire.
It is.
It really is. Guys, I don't know if you knew this, but there's a big game going on Saturday. Arizona State, number 21, going up against number 14 BYU. Winner realistically controls their destiny to the Big 12 title. Loser certainly needs some help at Mountain America Stadium. Why not go? If you're asking where to get your tickets, well, Game Time is the easy answer. They got a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you're not going to have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, Game Time, they're giving you some phenomenal deals. These are some of the most expensive college football tickets in the nation. And right now, you could get some pretty solid seats for just under $300. Some of the cheapest that you are going to find for Arizona State tickets. So just throwing that out there. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
I love it. I love it. Look, before we get to Kenny, Captain Redbeard, how you doing, man? I know it was a long, hard weekend. Captain Redbeard doesn't always get a ton of love. I feel like we do a good job of trying to get Captain Redbeard in here so the fans and everyone
He'll never get as much as he deserves.
I mean, Captain Redbeard is quite literally the captain of this ship.
Yeah.
This doesn't sail without Captain Redbeard. I just want to know what you think of the Devils at this point, man.
They're awesome. We were talking about it earlier. They're like the greatest story in college football.
Period.
Like, come on. Why aren't you fired up?
I'm fired up. Erik, I feel like, it's not nearly as fun.
Yeah, I could care less.
Yeah, I feel like you need to be a little bit more fired up. David in the chat, I won 4 tickets and gave them to ASU fans for free.
Dude,
wow.
David,
there you go.
I don't know if I've just been missing, but I haven't seen you in our chat either that often or recently. And if you're new around here, you are exactly the type of person that we want to keep around. So please continue to stick around because that is awesome. Do not sell your tickets to BYU fans. I do not care if they are offering you the entire monetary value of the Mormon Church. Do not sell your tickets to BYU fans. It is like making a deal with the devil, ironically. Do not do it. Do not do it.
Look, if you don't want to take Erik's word for it, Kenny Dillingham at today's press conference literally said that. This is what Kenny Dillingham had to say in terms of if you've got tickets and you're giving them away, make sure they go to Sun Devils.
Well, great environment, right? The one thing I would say is if you have tickets and you're an ASU fan, make sure they go to ASU fans, right? There's a lot of BYU fans in the Valley. Right? So let's make sure if you're an ASU fan and you own a ticket and you're selling it or you're giving it away, make them show you an ASU hat or an ASU shirt, show something ASU in order to get that ticket because it's I mean, I think it's one of the most expensive tickets in college football right now are the tickets to this game on Saturday, and that's super exciting just because the environment for the guys when they run out of the tunnel, that's real. To be loud, right, on third downs, on fourth downs is real. And I mean, I can't wait until we hit our first third down, their offense, our defense, and the place just stands up and erupts. And that's going to be exciting.
You know, it hits different because coaches will say that. Mm-hmm. We need everybody to come out. We need you to pack the environment. It hits different when you know that if that man was not a coach, he would be the one buying the tickets and showing up to the game.
For sure.
He would be the one who, if a BYU fan messaged him like, hey, I saw that you're selling tickets. You know, me and my family of 15 would like to come through to the game. He would tell him to get stuffed. You know, it's different when he's genuine like that. And he means it. Do not do that. Shame, shame, shame on you if you do.
I mean, why would you want to be at this game, right? Like you said,
that's worth more than the millions and billions of dollars the BYU fans will offer you.
This is the first heaven and hell matchup in the Big 12 between BYU and Arizona
I have
State.
a great name for this.
The Holy
Never
War?
been done before.
The
Holy War.
It's always the Holy War.
This is the first time ever in college football, sport history. The Holy War.
Do you prefer heaven versus hell, or do you prefer the Holy War?
Well, I mean, the Holy War is kind of taken. So
yeah, we can take it back, though. This is a ranked matchup.
Heaven or hell is good. There's got to be something, right?
Something in there.
There's got to be something.
What, you got anything, Captain Redbeard? Any creative ideas for this?
Holy War is goated.
The Holy War is good. Well, I think it probably depends who you ask, to be honest with you.
Well,
that's true.
Let's not clip that and take that out of context.
Oh, my goodness. Look, regardless, Mountain America Stadium is going to be rocking. It's going to be one of the most electric environments in all of college football this weekend. If you have the opportunity to go, highly, highly recommend that you do. Even if you're not planning on going to the game, go out Tempe, man. Just go out, enjoy the tailgates, like enjoy the environment. You obviously hope that Arizona State replicates this for years to come. But this is realistically the first time under Kenny Dillingham, and really in a long time, that Arizona State has as much hype going into a matchup as I can even remember. The last time that there was a matchup like this in Tempe, I think everybody's in agreement that it was Arizona State versus Notre Dame back in 2014. Mm-hmm. Arizona State won that game. The crowd was incredible. And Kenny Dillingham talked a little bit about that just decade-old matchup and how this week's game can kind of replicate that.
And I remember the last day game that had probably a sold-out crowd at this level of intensity was Notre Dame. And that was an unbelievable crowd. What was that, 10 years ago now? And that was also a day game. It was a different time of year. That was 105 out, right? It wasn't in November. But it's good for us that we're playing meaningful football in November, specifically here, because the weather is so nice. Who wouldn't want to be at the game? Like, where else would you want to be than in Sun Devils State or Mountain America Stadium at 1:30 on Saturday? And that's why the ticket prices are so high. We live in the best city in America. Everybody's moving back. If you left, you're back, right? Because it's 70 degrees out in the middle of November, and you get to watch meaningful football. I mean, what else is there to do? Like, that is the ticket. I'm excited to see how many people tailgate because I actually think we're going to have a great turnout in the tailgating stuff outside as well.
Look, one thing I want to say a little bit about that and just about what these kind of games can do, right, is if you are a parent and you have the opportunity to take your kid, if there is family in town and you have the opportunity to go to this game, he's talking about that 2014 matchup against Notre Dame. I was at that game. That was my first Arizona State game.
Really?
As a kid. Yeah, that was the first game that I had gone to. And that
was the beginning of the Football Freak.
That was the Football Freak. Yeah, it might be. It might have been the origins of the Football Freak.
What a full circle moment.
But it just goes to show, right? Like you can create a fan in one day, in one game, taking somebody to Tempe for that entire weekend, for that environment, for that game. And if Arizona State comes out on top, that can create an entire new generation of fans with one game. So you have to go out. Fans that aren't fans yet, take them to Tempe, drag them there, enjoy the tailgate, enjoy the weather, enjoy some football, and let's create an entire new generation of Arizona State fans because you can do it with just one big game.
And not just for the fans, but sorry, I'm not just thinking about the kitty kids.
The kitty kids?
Think about the recruits. Because if you don't think that there are going to be recruits there, you are sorely mistaken. This could end up being what is the actual turning point as far as ASU being consistently in these conversations and these types of games going forward. Because if you take this moment and you have the fans, the recruits, the current players, the coaches, the administration, the people who are funding you, your NIL donors, everything like that, and you have that type of environment, you've created it out of thin air, out of a team that was supposed to be last in the Big 12, and now you're playing for a championship, you win this game in that environment with these stakes, and then that propels you going forward the rest of this season, there are zero excuses on any front for this organization, this program, this school to take a step back. Because you should be immediately getting out your checkbook and trying to figure out a way to keep every single coach on this roster. You will immediately be opening up your checkbook to keep every talented player on this roster, which there are a lot of them that can return next season. You are immediately opening your checkbook as far as looking at the transfer portal and these big additions. And you are immediately looking at what you can pitch and sell to these kids. Not in a fake way, but in a real way, because you saw what they could do with 3 wins. You saw what they could do with not as much buy-in. If you take advantage of this weekend, you can change the future of this program for the next decade. Boom. That is how big this moment is.
Also, in terms of retaining your players, right? I know you touched on it a little bit, but you're the number 21 team in the nation, right? And this fan base has showed up at different points this season. The UCF crowd wasn't the greatest crowd in the world, but this is the first time that Arizona State has been ranked in a minute.
Yep.
And if you want these guys to come back, they should be proud of playing in Mountain America Stadium. And they should be proud about the crowd that they are playing in front of. So you got to pack that stadium. You got to go out there and make it something that Arizona State hasn't had or seen in a decade plus, and I think they can do that. But like you said, a lot of this is you are going to have to, at the end of this, open up the checkbook. You're going to have to dive into that collective and find ways to keep assistants, to keep players, to get new players. The list kind of goes on. And Kenny Dillingham, ironically enough, was asked today just about his contract, if he's at all in negotiations because of the situation that occurred at Indiana. I believe a serious extension
for 10 years
for Indiana's coach. I think it was 8 years, like 60-something million.
Yeah, that was a really good deal.
But Kenny was asked about it, and he gave a really interesting, thoughtful answer.
I personally am not. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about our assistants right now. Then I'm worried about our players in NIL. So I'm worried about everybody else associated with the program, everybody else that's making us successful right now.
I mean, that's exactly what you want to hear, right? That's exactly what you want to hear. Your head coach saying, I'm not worried about me right now. I want to make sure that we lock in our assistants long-term. You're talking offensive coordinator Marcus Arroyo, defensive coordinator Brian Ward, linebacker coach AJ Cooper, secondary coach Brian Carrington, Hines Ward. Make sure you keep him. Jason Mons, Sean Aguano, like the list goes on. And these assistants have had really solid years. I know today's era of college sports, a lot of people want to talk about players bouncing, right? Sam Leavitt, Jordyn Tyson, Kyson Brown, some of these other players on Arizona State's roster that you're going to want to maintain and retain. Part of being able to retain those guys is being able to retain their position coaches that they like, because you've got so many teams in college football that are going to move on from their coach after this season, and they are going to be in the market for a brand spanking new one. And a lot of these college football coordinators will bounce up, right? They'll take jobs as a head coach. You want to make them some of the highest paid assistants in college football to be able to keep them here in Tempe, to get that answer from Kenny Dillingham at this time at 8-2, when in reality, he could go to Graham Rossini and say, you know what? Look what I have done in just a blink of an eye. I should be paid more. I should get an extension to be in Tempe. But no, being the guy that he is, it is more so, hey, let's figure out the kids, make sure they stay in Tempe, and let's figure out the assistants around the program. Let's keep this thing locked in, and let's run it back next year.
From an emotional standpoint, I have no doubts in my mind that this is truly what Kenny wants to do, right? Like, he wants to take care of these people.
I think he craves it.
But if I peel that back and just put the humanity part aside, and let's say you are trying to build a winning football program at all costs, usually people think about that and think, how are you going to lie, cheat, and steal your way to the top, right? But what Kenny Dillingham is doing is he's saying, I know deep down inside that if we are good and we are as good as this, I will never have to worry about a contract for the rest of my life. I'll never have to worry about buying a meal, a drink in Tempe or the state of Arizona for the rest of my life. He knows that. I think deep down inside he knows, not because that's what drives him, but he's a smart guy.
He's a brilliant football mind.
And he knows, and you've seen what losing these types of coaches can do to other programs. Now, they did lose a Rashad Samples.
Okay, I thought you were going in a different direction.
Well, yes.
I know what you're thinking.
Yes, and everybody knows what I'm thinking. Like, you lose a Rashad Samples, you get a Hines Ward. So, like, it's not like he can't make up for it, but I think he knows that when you're going and recruiting these kids, it's not just Kenny. It's Kenny and, right? Aguano, Kenny and Ward, Kenny and Arroyo, Kenny and Regal. Like, they're all there with him, heavily recruiting in state and out of state.
Yeah.
So you know that if you keep everybody there happy and paid, the players stay happy and paid, you are still going to get paid eventually.
Yeah.
In fact, it's probably a way for you to get more money, because if you renegotiate your contract now and not 2 to 3 years from now, when, let's say, like, you have consistently sustained this, you can demand even more money. If you're looking at it from a cynical perspective of, I'm just trying to look out for me. And that's not what he's doing.
Is that who you are?
No, I'm just saying that's not what he's doing, but that's still getting to that point, and he's doing it in a wholesome way. You know I look out for the people around me.
I'm just yanking your chain, man.
Just because I called you the lead in a Hallmark movie, you got to take a dig. Huh?
What is your role in that movie?
Oh, I'm the comic relief, like, your idiot friend. Yeah, that like you...
Still a main character though?
No. I'm in like 30% of the scenes. Like, I'm around.
That's solid.
I'm around.
That's solid.
But you're like an 85.
You're like 7th or 8th in the credits.
Sure. Yeah. But I'm the fan favorite, right? Everybody loves me.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves you. People want a sequel, but with you starring.
Yeah, and then I do get the sequel. It turns into be like an 8-part TV series, completely flops.
Oh,
my career's off the rails.
It's great.
Nobody loves me anymore.
Yeah. But you're always known for that one.
I'm sitting in the bar and I'm just saying, like, I was in that one Hallmark
You're
movie.
a has-been.
Yes.
One-hit wonder.
Yeah.
What about Kyle? What's his part in this movie?
Kyle's the director.
Oh, baby.
Kyle's the one making the magic happen.
But he clearly wasn't the director on the 8-part
No.
TV sitcom.
You and him stuck together, and I went off chasing the fame and the fortune.
That's crazy.
And I completely just...
Kyle and I are up there getting Oscars. And
yeah. Meanwhile, you're like, I don't know, like in some like movie with like The Rock. You're like his buddy
his
cop
new
partner.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, you're his. Oh, dude, your college football's Kevin Hart. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that.
College football's Kevin Hart is crazy.
That's your new nickname.
I'll take it. I don't think it's a bad thing. Oh, my goodness.
William says Eric's the guy that gets in the way of the plot. 100%. You're trying to propose to her, but somehow I keep on like walking in the middle.
You're supposed to like give me the ring or something?
I'm like, dude, I just hit this parlay. You're like, I don't care. I'm like, no, you gotta look. And she gets on the train, and then you get really mad at me. That's my role.
There's always a train in Hallmark love movies.
Has to be.
Always. Look, this is a perfect time to get into the tiebreakers. So Arizona State has a unique situation, as does, I believe, Iowa State. So from everything that I have seen, okay, Now, I am about 90% sure on this. This is not, you can't go to the bank and cash this check. But Arizona State, from everything I have seen, outside of one wacky scenario, controls their destiny to the Big 12 title. You got to beat BYU and you got to beat Arizona. Now, in a beautiful world, you beat BYU and Kansas beats Colorado, boom, you're all good. You just got to beat Arizona at that point. Now, there is a really weird situation that I've heard of. I don't know the specifics of it. Kenny was asked today at his press conference just how much he pays attention to the tiebreakers and if he knows how Arizona State can make the Big 12 title.
Oh, I have no clue. I literally have no. Somebody was telling me if we win and somebody else loses, and then like ranch dressing falls on a wing, I don't really know. It just play the very best you can play, prepare the very best you can prepare, and like I told the guys last week in my leadership council meeting, like don't get lost in the sauce. Like just be the very best we can be over and over again, and wherever we end up is the best we could have ever done. That's it. Like you can wish and hope, but if you just play the very best you can play and prepare the very best you can prepare, then regardless of what happens, it's the very maximum you could have ever achieved anyways. So what else do you want? So I have no clue the tiebreaker. Some of the players probably do. I couldn't even tell you.
That's for us to figure out. That's not on him. All he needs to worry about is winning his dang game.
We should do, what is that political guy that always every election cycle comes up dressed? He's got glasses. Yeah. He's always at the
just
board.
Stand here.
Yeah. He's like, so if this happens, this happens, this happens.
So Kansas beats Colorado, okay? Yeah. This is what we're talking about.
I think we need to do this. Right? We need to do this. Yeah. We need to absolutely get it done. We're going to be doing a Southwest Bias a little bit later on, correct?
Like literally as soon as this ends, Totri and I are going to record Southwest Bias. It'll be out either tonight or tomorrow in your audio feeds and on YouTube. We're just going to talk about anything that we kind of left on the table here, paths to the Big 12 championship, what gets in the way, and just truly how realistic it is that at the end of it all, ASU wins this conference.
Are we scared yet?
Why the hell would I be scared?
Because, I mean, Captain Redbeard's got a tattoo on the line. You've got a Speedo.
You know what? Yeah,
We've got 12 to 24-hour streams in play.
It's the stream. I think it's the 24-hour stream.
Does the 24-hour stream scare you?
I think the 24-hour stream scares me because
more than the Speedo. We did like the rock.
I'm hot, so it's fine. I'm look good.
Speedo, no shirt.
I'm look good. I have to make sure that we won't get demonetized for that. I don't want like.
Derek's taking his shirt off.
Yeah, but like that's like a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of skin.
You're talking about Derek? Or no,
I'm talking about if I'm only wearing a Speedo. If I'm only wearing a Speedo.
I mean, that's what people pay
like
for.
Borderline nudity.
No, it's not.
Yes,
you're wearing a Speedo.
Yeah, but it's borderline. It's like
wear some socks and a hat.
Oh, dude, a backwards hat, Speedo
and some sunscreen that's not rubbed in.
I still have yet to been provided proof. I've been told. I know that we talked about the Speedo thing.
It definitely did
I don't know about the specifics of it, though. I know we joked about the Speedo thing, but I don't know if we sat down and we said if ASU makes or wins the Big 12. Like, I need to know the terms here.
Captain Redbeard's got a tattoo on the line, right?
I would much rather wear a Speedo.
And Noah does now, too.
Yeah.
Noah made an absolute
he was very
egregious. He wasn't even a deal.
He
just was like, I'll do it with you.
Noah
shook your hand. I was like, okay, I see this. You can't get out of this.
Noah is the new producer for Suns who has taken over from me as I've transitioned away from producing. He's been in the Valley for 2 weeks.
Did not go to Arizona State.
No.
But would have a Sparky tattoo if the Sun Devils find a way to do it. Short bus in the chat. If you're doing a 24-hour, I'm coming in for an hour. I'm
not even
cool
a choice.
With that. I'm cool. I'm cool with that.
Dude, wait. What if
It's just a solo comedy show,
and we're just watching.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. That'd be great.
We can work through your new material. Maybe we can critique it. You know. Oh wait, the roast of PHNX Sun Devils.
Oh God.
Short bus and other people from the office roast us. So
okay.
Think about it, because then we don't have to talk. It's
that can be an
live
hour.
Stream.
That can be an hour.
That's an hour.
Okay.
That's an hour.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Merck in the chat saying that BYU hasn't looked good for several weeks now. Totally agree. Looked bad against Oklahoma State. Looks bad, obviously, against Kansas. They looked awful against Utah. They got bailed out. So Arizona State, again, should have all the momentum in the world. You just got to not get distracted and not take your eye off the prize because there's still a ton to play for. 8-2, not good enough. Can certainly get better as the season progresses. So we've talked about BYU. We've talked about Arizona State. Obviously, Sun Devils are fresh off a big win over Kansas State on the road. BYU on the flip side of that, coming off of a loss to Kansas. So we are going to get to our Big 12 power rankings, but we are going to take just a quick break. Now, before I went to Kenny Dillingham's press conference today, I was driving, boom, at a red light, and wouldn't you know,
what?
Little gas light, just ding, ding,
the worst.
ding, but it's okay. There was a Circle K right on the corner.
Of course.
And let me tell you what, I still am saving money with Inner Circle because I'm a member. And once I used my 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, saving 25 cents per gallon, I'm still able to save 3 cents per gallon every single day. Inner Circle, super easy to sign up. It is Circle K's free membership program. Just download the app, enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. Guys, enjoy your member-exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle members, like, you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Now, there's a certain coach in the Big 12 that hawks these bad sunglasses out to his fans. Just poor quality, just trying to make a quick buck. The exact opposite of our friends over at Shady Rays, because truly nobody does it better than this independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product and has been rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. I believe that's roughly the amount of people that will be going to ASU BYU this weekend, and they're all going to be rocking their Shady Rays, because here's the thing: you want to protect your eyes, but you want to do it in a stylish way. And maybe you don't want to look like a blind mouse like me. Maybe you have your own style, you have your own adventures that you're looking for. Well, Shady Rays has you covered with performance, with style, with everything. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, they have a lost or broken replacement. Plus, they also have a return free within 30 days or exchange, and there's no risk for you within those 30 days. So for our listeners, Shady Rays giving their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Erik, are you ready to make some people upset?
Okay, so I just threw these together. Like, I knew the results. I didn't go through and look through everything. I threw mine together.
So you're a fraud.
Based off vibes.
You're a fraud.
Yeah. So let's see what.
Let's see your fraudulent Big 12.
You go first.
Okay. Well, look, these are our latest Big 12 power rankings. Just 2 games left in the season before you hit the postseason. I'll start with my Big 12 power rankings. I still have Colorado atop this conference. They just absolutely dominated their opponent this past week. I believe they played Utah. So Colorado, they stay put until they lose again. Now, Arizona State, if we would have showed you this at the start of the season, my goodness. Arizona State getting the job done on the road in Manhattan, Kansas, up to number 2 in these Big 12 power rankings. Iowa State, they move up 2 spots. Still going to be a thorn in the side of those Sun Devils. You'd love for them to lose at some point through these last 2 games. Cyclone fans, though, certainly feeling good about their team, Rocco Becht and company. BYU, they dropped 2 spots after their loss to Kansas. BYU, like it's been said in the chat before, haven't played well these last couple of weeks. So they are bound to fall maybe a couple more spots as the season continues. Kansas State, number 5, another team dropping because of what occurred over the weekend, coming off a bye week, losing to Arizona State and absolutely getting stomped pretty early on in that game. Avery Johnson looked rattled, did not look totally great. Baylor moves up 3 spots. Sneaky team as of late. They've been hot lately. Watch out for the Bears. TCU, they fall 1 spot. Kansas, biggest riser of the week, they jump up 5 spots, obviously after the big win on the road against BYU. Big matchup for the Jayhawks. Jalen Daniels, Devin Neal and company. They are at home against Shedeur Sanders in Colorado. Arizona State fans definitely rooting for the Jayhawks in that one. Texas Tech, they fall a spot. They didn't play this past weekend. West Virginia, they fall 3 spots after their loss to Baylor. Ironically enough, West Virginia was in the thick of the race to make the Big 12 title along with Arizona State, Iowa State, some of these other teams, but that loss to Baylor pretty much all but does their season in. UCF, they move up 1 spot. They didn't play this past weekend. Cincinnati falls 1. Arizona, welcome out of the final spot. Okay, you are now 13 after, what was just an incredibly impressive victory over the Houston Cougars. Congratulations. Season defining. Congratulations to Brent Brennan on what is likely going to be another season at Arizona. Woo! Houston drops 4 spots after their loss to the Wildcats. Utah falls a spot because they continue to suck. And Oklahoma State still winless in the Big 12 conference. Unbelievable that these are the Big 12 power rankings with just 2 weeks to go. Merc in the chat, Kansas could easily have 4 more wins. Short Bus saying, hit that like button, people. Absolutely, hit that like button. What do you got, Erik?
We're really not that different. Everything is within 1 or 2 spots.
I'm talking more about what you have for 1.
Well, here's the thing. Put it up on the screen. Your Arizona State Sun Devils are the #1 team in my Big 12 power rankings. Listen, I understand that this is not technically how the actual Big 12 standings are, but if you look at it over this past weekend, Arizona State, which I already had as one of the top teams in the conference, had by far and away the most impressive win of the weekend. By far and away.
Yeah.
Colorado.
Kansas is pretty impressive.
Kansas was impressive, but the most impressive and most consequential was Arizona State beating Kansas State.
Yeah.
Colorado beat Utah, who I have now ranked worst in this conference, which is insane, but I have them ranked worse. They beat them in a blowout at home, and I'm going to give Colorado all the credit in the world. I didn't believe they would be this good. They are absolutely this good. But right now, right here, for just the power rankings, ASU had the more impressive, more important weekend, beating the number 16
Colorado
team in the country
fans are coming
on the
for
road. I don't care.
Okay.
You think I'm scared of Colorado fans?
Okay, just throwing that out there.
I don't care at all. You're still a really good team. You still are the most likely team to make the Big 12 championship. That's fine. I'm taking ASU if we play, but I think I've earned the right to do that.
You're getting mad at me.
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because you set me up.
Well, you got a lot more teams.
I do. Iowa State at 3 up 2. Kansas State, I'm going to not give them as much of a knockoff for losing to a good team. So I have them moving down 1 there now at 4. BYU, I have knocked down significantly more because as much as I respect what Kansas is doing, it's clear that Kansas is not one of the best teams in this conference, and you did get beat by them. So BYU drops down. Texas Tech stays the same. Baylor, like you mentioned, hot up 2. TCU staying at 8. Kansas, I have moving up 4 spots at 9. UCF up 2 at 10. West Virginia drops down 4 spots at 11. Arizona goes up 4 spots with a win over Houston, but that's also because Cincinnati drops 3 spots. Houston dropping 3 spots. The Cinderella run is over.
Oklahoma, is that what we're calling it?
Oklahoma State, you stay at 15. Utah, boy, are you stinky.
Why Oklahoma State over Utah? Just you really hate these.
They just suck.
Both of them suck.
And I mean, it's like, hey man, what's worse, like a mountain of diarrhea or a mountain of like boogers?
So graphic.
They all suck.
So graphic, guys. That is our Big 12 power rankings. Hit that like button. Let us know in the comments you agree or you disagree when it comes to what we have with just 2 games left in the season. Look, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review, head to the PHNX locker, grab yourself an Activate the Valley t-shirt. Definitely working to get some Arizona State legends already. Graham Rossini, Kenny Dillingham, the Scat Man himself. Get him in this Activate the Valley t-shirt. I know mine's coming soon. Have you ordered yours yet?
I have not. I'm waiting.
You're such a fraud.
I'm waiting till payday.
Fraud. Go get your Activate the Valley t-shirt, guys. Look, we are going to talk ASU hoops for a quick second, but we are going to take our last break. Chicken in pickle.
And Dad Reed.
That's what it should be.
Boom.
The vibes are incredible. The game days that you could have at Chicken and Pickle are incredible. The pickleball, unbelievable. The chicken and waffles, out of this world. And then, you throw in some decent company like a Rubus or a Captain Redbeard. And then you have got yourself one hell of a day, guys. Sign up for our free Cardinals tailgates at Chicken and Pickle. Spend $30 or more. Chicken and Pickle is going to validate your parking valid on Cardinals home game days. Doesn't matter if you are a pickleball pro or a pickleball novice. Chicken and Pickle is the place to learn and have some fun when it comes to pickleball. Or if you don't want to play pickleball, go enjoy the food, enjoy the weather, and enjoy the vibes. Head to chickenandpickle.com. That is chickenandpickle.com to see all the fun that you can have at their Glendale location.
Maybe it's time to spruce up where you watch games. Maybe it's time for you to activate your valley a little bit more and get some ASU, I don't say signage, but it's more than that because our friends over at Saturday Neon are the officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon sign provider for your home, office, dorm, fan cave or bar started by two college friends. They really have dominated this business by doing it differently. Unlike traditional neon, these LED signs won't break or shatter, but they will still give you that classic uniform glow that you know and love. They last up to 100,000 hours, so you'll be enjoying your sign for years to come. Super easy to install, low voltage, and of course, the absolute perfect gift for this upcoming holiday season, maybe for yourself, if you want to treat yourself, maybe for another fan in your life, because they don't just have ASU, but they do have, lowly schools like U of A and many other logos for whatever college sports fan is in your life. PHNX has used Saturday Neon to get our studio signs, and they look fantastic. Use code PHNX for 10% off your order at SaturdayNeon.com.
Get it done. Get it done.
Get her done.
You ready to talk some ASU hoops?
Please.
So this team's still 4-1 now on the season after a win over the St. Thomas, Minnesota Tommies, which, just a blue blood program, if I've ever seen one. They came to Tempe. Arizona State got the job done, 81-66, big 15-point victory. I don't care who you're playing. Winning at home is crucial, and just continuing to stack wins in non-con is big for this team. But obviously, you want to continue to see the development of this offense and a lot of these freshmen, to be honest with you. And the freshmen were really the storyline last night. Obviously, we didn't do a post-game show. We would like a day off every now and then.
Oh, I didn't get the day off. I was doing Suns.
Kyle, did you have a
day off?
Did you have a day off?
Huh?
Yeah, I just slept.
48 hours, right? As soon as we got home.
46, 48.
Kyle's been sleeping for a while.
When you talk for 7 hours straight,
we did talk
Saturday.
for a while. My voice on Sunday was not good.
Dude, I can't even imagine. I don't know, having to do like another show the next day. And then 2 shows.
Would you like some
that.
tissues or?
I was hoping maybe an award.
I don't give awards. I don't give awards personally.
Like that's a podcasting Purple Heart.
We can ask Espo.
I think you know what? I feel like if anybody deserves a podcasting Purple Heart,
it's you.
No, it's you.
It's Kyle.
It's Kyle. It is Kyle.
Basketball. Joson Sannon, 18 points, 9 boards in this game. Played in 30 minutes. Came off the bench for Arizona State. This is now back-to-back games where offensively he has looked super sharp. 6 of 11 from the floor, 3 of 15 from behind the arc. Super efficient again, and being able to crash the glass, another benefit to what we've seen from Joson Sannon. He has proved to be one of, if not the best shooter on this team, and slowly turning into one of the most consistent as well, Erik.
He should continue to get better, and that should be the scariest thought for everybody else in the Big 12. He's a certified bucket. He's moving like he could be a first-round pick. And if he continues to play this well, you can't keep him out of the starting lineup, and you certainly cannot keep him out of the NBA. That is purely the amount of just talent this guy is working with. And if he can be competent, not force, which I think is a big part. A lot of this is the game still coming to him and finding the moments where he needs to, be a little bit more aggressive, maybe take more of a risky shot, and then the other ones where he needs to step back and let the offense come to him. He is looking like a talented natural offensive weapon. And if he can do anything else, right? If he can rebound, if he could pass the ball, if he could defend, that's just all bonus and positives for somebody that could put the ball in the hoop like that. He moves differently, and he will continue to be a very crucial key piece to this team if they are going to compete in this Big 12 conference.
100%. I do want to get to Sharon's super chat that she had sent a little bit earlier. Sharon is a PHNX diehard. She says, donate to Sun Angel. Keep this team together. Talking about that football program, I believe 35 of 44 players can return next year for the Sun Devils. So definitely get to the Sun Angel Collective online and find a way
for football and for basketball.
For football and for basketball, especially because you're going to want to keep Jordyn Quaintance. Jordyn Quaintance at Arizona State, still the youngest player in all of college basketball, if you didn't know by watching all of these broadcasts. Jordyn Quaintance, 13 points last night, 14 boards, 4 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal. All over the floor. All over the floor. I think I'm pretty sure based off of what I've seen so far, he is either leading the nation or second or third in blocks, total blocks.
No hyperbole. At 17 years old, Jordyn Quaintance could be the best defender in this country.
Oof.
No hyperbole. Because again, he's 17 years old. And he's still getting used to playing college basketball. And his defensive impact is almost immeasurable at this point. His instincts, his athleticism, his length, his ability to be in the right place at the right time. He has fantastic timing. And yes, he's a little bit aggressive. Yes, he could foul, but he is 17 years old and he's only going to get better. And I do think that this defense has done a good job of helping insulate him, whether it's a double big lineup to maybe cover some deficiencies, let him be a little bit more gambly so that when somebody gets by him and drives to the rim, you have another tall presence there. But being able to pair him with an offensive weapon like Bashir Jihad as well has opened up so much. We saw Quaintance hit a 3 against St. Thomas. This is a player who, just like Sannon, is raw, is young, and he's going to continue to get better. And as long as everybody else around him continues to look for him, which you're starting to see that offensive chemistry develop, where it was the play where he goes up for the one-handed dunk, right? And it was ball movement, bang, boom, and then thrown right to him, and he's cutting. That's him being smart and knowing when to cut, and that's the ball moving and the passer knowing where their big man's going to be. If they can continue to have that identity for a big man specifically, his offensive game will grow tremendously. They will continue to look for him, and the more that he dunks, the more that he finishes at the hoop, the more that he gets the offense ran through him, the more confident he's going to be. And a confident Jordyn Quaintance,
scary.
Nightmare.
Yeah, nightmare. Short Bus in the chat saying he's 5th in blocks. Will in the chat saying Jordyn Quaintance, Secretary of Defense. I like that. The Sun Devils Secretary of Defense kind of goes hard. Our Seeker in the chat.
Pass that along to Braden.
Join the Big Ten and bring your wrestling and hockey.
We're not joining the Big Ten.
It's okay. We're good with the Big
12. Let's just speed run the Big 12.
And then we'll go from there. We'll go
let's just win chips in all sports in the Big 12, and then we'll think about it.
Short Bus say, sorry, 2nd in overall blocks. That's what I thought. 5th in blocks per game. Him and Sannon, though, not the only freshmen that are just having solid starts to the year. Amir Ali, another freshman, talk about efficient, 4 of 6 from the floor. His only misses were his 2 3-point attempts. 10 points on the night for him. Amir Ali, again, continues to impress me. And it's been remarkable, this 3-headed monster of a freshman class. And all love, all flowers to them. But before we get out of here, Bashir Jihad, 20 points again.
Baller.
He's just... I did not see 20 points a night from this guy coming.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to get 20 points a night for the whole season.
20-something the other game, too?
I don't know the whole season, but if he is, he certainly has the skill set to do so. And like I mentioned, with his size and his ability to draw fouls, I'm super excited. But you cut me off before I can make a joke.
Oh, God.
I was going to sing.
You were going to sing?
I was going to sing
what were you
a cover of a song. Amir Ali, fabulous he, playing basketball. So that's as far as I got. That's all I wanted to do. Is that too much to ask on a Victory Monday?
Chat, what'd you think of that?
Rate it 1 through 4.
1 through 4, and also put on who would be a good feature on that song. Amir Ali himself?
Definitely Manny Wilkins.
Manny Wilkins on the feature there?
If y'all didn't know, Manny Wilkins, M5.
SoundCloud rapper.
He is a musician. Do not call him a SoundCloud rapper. He's a musician.
I guess that's fair. Austin Mason with 8 points. BJ Freeman with 6. You did it. Yes, all you.
Amir Ali, fabulous he.
Arizona State scoring 81 again, shooting 50% from the floor, 40% from 3, 69% nice from the charity stripe. So not the best in the world, but overall Arizona State, again, pretty efficient. Kind of impressed to see this team score 81 points, get a 15-point victory. And in large part, like Austin Mason didn't hit double figures. BJ Freeman did not hit double figures. Adam Miller did not hit double figures. I would not have thought that this team would score 81 points, and 3 of their 4 guys that got into double figures were their freshmen.
Yeah, I mean, St. Thomas played well, and I'll give them credit. And offensively, they shot lots of threes. That's what kept them in this game. Of course, at the end, ASU was able to pull away. I'm not surprised that a team of the size of St. Thomas gave up 81 points to a team the size of Arizona State, even if it is the freshman leading the way. Because just from a physicality standpoint, I would almost have expected them to score at least over 75 points this game, just
based off the opponent
on paper alone.
Yeah. I mean,
but shout out. I mean, St. Thomas played hard. That's a team that used to be Division III.
They played hard, but Arizona State's defense was pretty smothering. St. Thomas shot 39% from the floor, 29% from threes.
But they were taking so many threes.
St. Thomas took 37 3-pointers in that game, 66 total shots from the floor. So more than half their shots were from 3-point land, and they only made 11 of them. So overall, not a great night if you are a St. Thomas Tommy. A great day and a great weekend if you are an Arizona State Sun Devil. Again, highly, highly recommend if you don't have tickets already, go to the game.
Do it.
This Saturday, okay? And now Arizona State basketball, they've got some matchups ahead too. Let's take a look at the Bobby board. We got a new Bobby face. You got a new Bobby Hurley head over on the St. Thomas Tommies little logo there. Now you got Cal Poly this weekend. I believe that is a Wednesday game. We'll be doing a post-game show for that matchup, so definitely stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. That way you guys can see when we go live talking about Arizona State, which we do every single day, Erik, and we're going to continue to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Every single day, every single day.
I thought we've just been riffing. I didn't even know that the mics were on.
It's what we do. It's what we do. And again, the captain of our ship steering us to the championship at this point, man. Kind of crazy. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow this guy at Erik Ruby. You can follow the man steering the ship at KCoop Sports on social. We will see you guys on Wednesday. But in the meantime, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.